Welcome everyone. We're going to connect today and we're going to talk about psychology and naturopathy. From 2 points of view, we want to show you how to connect body and mind, how to be very efficient and effective with how we experience emotions and how we heal on our own. Today with me is Jennifer, and let's start. Let's tell them what we're going to really talk about and who we are.
So shall I just quickly introduce myself?
Yes,
Okay.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Jennifer Eisenecker. I'm a naturopath practicing in Singapore. I actually had a different career before. I was in private banking, did the whole corporate career thing, studied Chinese and all that, but that was not for me. So I basically went back to what my wish was. So instead of studying medicine, I studied naturopathy in Germany. I got my degree there, and then I came back to Singapore and set up my practice. I launched Panacaya, which is a practice for natural remedies, holistic health. And the main thing that I do is I look at the body from a trauma view, but we cannot just ignore all the our sleep issues, how we treat anxiety from the gut. So there are so many really interesting, fascinating things that combining psychology with naturopathy just makes sense to me. I do lots of women's health. I also have with my little brand Panacaya, I have products. It's all holistic and good stuff. Yeah,
and it's amazing and it works. So like I've tried that and it's like, yes.
And Beata, what about yourself? What's your background?
So I'm Beata, psychologist and life coach. I was studying psychology, and it took me 6 years to finish all this clinical approach. And I felt like it's really absolutely awesome and great, but I couldn't find and couldn't see it being really practical in the daily life. I felt that it's really heavy, and I didn't want to practice traditional psychology like a talk therapy. So my approach is to blend psychology with coaching to make it really practical, tailor-made for clients. And I cannot ignore emotions. It's like my main focus is on where we are and how we feel. And probably because I'm also an ex-athlete, I know that we need to work with our body. We can't deny what's happening inside, right? So as much as we want to work very often on just let go this stress, let go this anxiety, then just like don't think about it. It's like, this is the worst sabotage that we can do to ourselves. This is the biggest trap that we may fall into, right? So I think when we connect body and mind, this is when magic happens. And this is the true, authentic, long-term changes are starting to fall into place. Yeah. So I'm really happy, and I can't wait what will come up out of our discussion. So just to make sure this is not scripted, we don't have everything like just like we're gonna go from A to B and then C. We will see what's gonna happen. But this first video is about emotions and what's happening, how we can work with emotions and trauma. Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people experience a lot of different varieties of emotions. And I know that at least from what I do with my individual clients, I can observe and I can share that there is a lot of trauma that is not realized, right? Especially during the pandemic, but also before. Like, we have these patterns of thinking, patterns of reactions, and very often we don't think that it might be something inside just causing that or holding this and making it just being really reactive all the time, right?
Yeah. I can just I can only agree with this. So I don't know what it was with your experience, Beata, but like people who seem to have still managed somehow before the lockdown. So people could go to work, they were traveling, there was this weekend in Bali or, summer holidays in Europe, and everyone seemed to have their I'm not sure whether it's really an escape mechanism, but coping mechanisms, like people could recharge. But then after lockdown, just being separated from friends, from family, not knowing when this is going to stop, anxiety, fears coming up. I've seen also, like, I don't know, changes with like children, teenagers, like all this normal stuff, like all that COVID stuff came on top. Already life, maybe people had their own issues and we were more or less aware of them, but it was still kind of manageable. And then COVID came. And all of a sudden, this whole structure that people had built in order to make it work somehow, all that fell apart. And babies still die. I mean, relationships still fall apart. Jobs still get lost. People die. We can't say goodbye. We can't travel. So there are so many uncertainties now going on top that it's just normal, actually, to reach a point where I say I can't do anymore. Like I'm at my limit. I don't know. What's your
absolutely. And it's like I can see that every single coping skill or strategy that we've been developed before COVID, before the pandemic, it was working, and we made it a routine, right? We created perfect structure for ourselves. We had a lot of points to disconnect, distract ourselves, shift attention from what's happening, what we feel, to something else. And because that was so absorbing, we had to stay on that. Now with the current lockdown, with everything that's happening, is like everything that was outside is just gone. So we need to activate new coping ways, new coping skills. And for some people, it's really uncomfortable to look inside and be able to acknowledge what's happening, because very often they don't have this gentleness and kind voice toward themselves, right? So a lot of work of starting to heal from what we feel is to bring up this open mindset to see ourselves as someone who's in pain, and let's help each other, right? Let's help yourself to look inside and see and acknowledge, see your needs, acknowledge them, and find a way how you can fulfill them, how you can meet your needs.
Yeah, and I think this sabotaging self-talk, these negative, nagging thoughts, I think they're quite destructive for many of us. So it's, I don't know, like as a naturopath, is like one of, just go back to basics. Make sure you eat proper food, like stop all this ordering out. I mean, delivery and all these delivery services, they're convenient, but it's made with palm oil that causes inflammation. It's often not prepared with love. You don't know where the food is coming from. The ingredients might be coming from China, loaded with toxins, are made to last. So, I encourage people to cook, even if just once a week. Just once a week, cook yourself a proper meal. And even if you don't have much time, it doesn't have to be something fancy. There's so many really delicious recipes that can be done, and you can make a big batch and just freeze, make portions, or invite, if you're in a country where it's allowed to meet people, invite your neighbors, invite your friends, just connect with another human. I think this is so important, is the human connection, because I don't. One of the biggest things I saw after lockdown was like when I could start working again, people said, wow, you're the first person I'm seeing in a couple of months or even more. I haven't been out. So can I hug you? Like, I'm just missing a hug. It's just, I think these basic things are really difficult. Like it's necessary for our mental well-being, for our physical well-being.
And we very often outsource them. We very often kind of like we want that to be done and kind of done well, but we rarely forget to check in with ourselves. What well means for me today, for this week, for this month. Where am I now? What do I need, and how can I meet this need, right? Because very often it's like I can see myself that on Thursdays I'm absolutely dead. Like I know that I work intensively Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is my zombie day, right? So on a zombie day, I will eat whatever is in the fridge. So now I can prepare in advance to make sure that I have a healthy comfort food. So I don't just quickly now go for a grocery shopping and just go and buy some chips and chocolate and everything else that I crave. because I crave comfort, right? Because I'm tired emotionally.
Yeah.
And when I'm tired emotionally, I want to withdraw. I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Ideally, I want to just turn on Netflix, just veg out, lay down and watch it. And I just want to eat and pack and snack something, right? All the time. I want to just make, right? So now I know that I have lovely red curry waiting for me there. And of course, it's not as exciting as crunchy chips, but I have also crunchy carrots. So knowing what I need, I can prepare for that, right? But we need to bring ourselves into the state of consciousness. We need to become aware of that.
Yeah.
So
there's healthy comfort food. I mean, for me, comfort food is such a great thing. It's fantastic. It's mainly a root vegetable. So all your pumpkin, your sweet potatoes.
I know.
You make it in a one-pot dish. That's how we call them in Germany. Like you throw everything in one pot, and either you make it a creamy soup by just add a bit of more water, and you puree it with and you just whisk it all together. Or if you have an oven, throw it into the oven. You don't even need to do anything. Just chop it and put in some spices, some olive oil, throw it in there, and you have a great meal. You don't even need to do anything. You can continue to work at the same time or do whatever you need to do. And just having these healthy dishes like a curry, a curry is so nourishing, right? It's just, and then maybe it's like use brown rice or red rice instead of the white rice. White rice has no nutrients in it. So, you think it's, I made it yourself. But yeah, if it's just plain white rice, I mean, there's nothing in it. Actually, you can even, from what I read, you can even die from malnutrition, but if you just eat white rice, because there's nothing in it anymore.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, if you were to just eat white rice.
Yeah.
So you want to go back to eating nutritious, healthy rice. And that's more expensive. Let's face it. Being healthy costs money. So either you spend your money on healthy food,
or you leave it in the clinics.
Yeah, exactly. And then you pop in some pills, but that's not going to help often in the long term. It's just going to suppress often symptoms. It's not going to solve anything. And especially when it comes to mental health issues, like all that anxiety, that fear, you can't sleep. Your body is already at a limit. You need to feed it good stuff. Like you need fresh herbs. And often it doesn't really matter what herb, unless you're pregnant, you're breastfeeding, then it's like more special situation. But other than that, everything in moderation. Don't go too crazy in one direction, and just eat healthy food. You don't need to be vegan or keto and all these fancy diets. Eat what your body needs. It's only if you have specific cravings, like if you're craving sugar, that could be an indication that maybe there is an imbalance in your gut. So you want to be mindful about the sugar. But I don't recommend going cold turkey with sugar, even though maybe you tell yourself every day, I have to stop eating sugar. But if you start to go like cold turkey and just stop eating all at once, the bacteria in your gut that make you crave the sugar because they're starving, because they didn't get any, they make it as grumpiness, like, I need sugar. So if you just reduce the sugar gradually, that's going to make it's going to be much more powerful than just telling yourself not to eat sugar, and then you binge on the sugar and you feel bad about it. But if we know, hey, this is the bacteria, they're dying, and therefore they make us crave the sugar, I usually tend to just replace this white unhealthy sugar that is hidden in all the processed food. It's in your coffee or in your all your Milos, and there's sugar everywhere, and it's cheap. White sugar is
like a
cheap.
toast bread as well, right?
Everywhere.
I looked last time on a label of a white bread, like a normal toast bread, and I was like, oh my god,
It's that long.
Yeah. And I was like, this is bread. This is supposed to be like a free ingredients. That's it, right?
Exactly. No. Yeah. So I think what you just mentioned, reading the labels is just so important. So you can't trust anyone. Like literally, you have to read every single label, and that takes time. But once you know, okay, I can buy this one, but not that one. Then it's quite fast. Just you need to get familiar, maybe which supermarkets have healthier options. Maybe there's a farmer's market near where you work or where you live. So you can, or even deliveries. Now, so many farmers or all these fresh food movements, I think I have some kind of bug flying around here. That's when you have everything open.
Nature.
Exactly. That's when you live in a green area. So order food, if some of the farmers, they actually, they offer the service that when you commit to once a week or twice a week, you get this basket of vegetables. It's cheaper for you. It's convenient. You can plan actually your week, because once a week, twice a week, you get your fresh basket.
Yeah.
And it just comes directly, and you cut all these you cut so much of the transportation. It's fresher. You want to get the food as fresh as possible, but it's not just freshness. Sometimes I hear from patients, oh, the food in that shop is so fresh, but the one comes from China. It can be fresh, that's great, but also look at the country of origin. I mean, let's face it, China has a track record with pollution. So even if it says organic, maybe it's not the same standard organic as in Europe.
Yeah. Jennifer, can I ask you about how would you address emotions from the point of like a natural well-being? Because I know how I address emotions, and very often what I struggle with or the challenge I have with clients is that they very often want to address emotions only on a cognitive level. They want to talk themselves out of certain emotion, right? And my work often focuses on showing them every emotion has a physical representation in the body, right? There are physical symptoms, there are physical signs so it's easier for you to read it. But if you're not connected to your body, you don't see these signs. You don't recognize it, right? And then I guess the next step is to see these signs and kind of connect it with nature. So then we can heal, right? Or do I get it wrong?
This is exactly it. Yeah. So I mean, very typical. Let's look at the symptoms first. I think very typical symptoms, or how you can figure out that your body might be already having some nutrient deficiencies, or that your body is just not happy maybe with the food you eat or with the lifestyle you're living. As like, if you can't sleep, there's something wrong. That's one thing. If your skin is not looking healthy, like eczema, acne, or it's just itchy, scratchy, your hair is falling out, your nails look in a strange way, these are like, just to keep it very general, gut issues. If you're like burping, farting, if something just you don't feel good after you eat, it means you're eating the wrong food for you. It can be there's too much of the wrong oil in it. Can be it's too many chemicals in there, too much processed food. So then, of course, we look at what you eat. If you're feeling too stressed to cook for yourself, like these are like more of the like general indication, but these are all signs there's something not quite right. And then in terms of more of when I address food, or like for one more thing for women, if your menstruation, if your cycle is out of whack, also you need to work holistically. Like let's just stop working just on symptoms. Like this is just the way how Western medicine usually focus on what is the symptom and what remedy do we have for that. We can do the same thing with herbs, right? What problem you have, and let's use a herb, a supplement, or essential oil. We can do that, but that's not how I work. I like to have this holistic approach because that's way more effective. It takes longer to get started because we're covering all these areas in your life. And even I ask you, like, what's your family story? And it's like, I have gut issues. Why do you ask me what's my family story? But hey, that is all connected. So when we use this holistic approach, you get much faster to the point and you see much faster changes. So for anxiety, for example, chickpeas, they're so versatile. Eat your hummus. Like hummus is a comfort food. Binge on hummus. Have that with the carrot sticks. So it actually raises the production of serotonin and dopamine, which are the happy hormones in the brain. So this is one of the foods that I suggest to the patients who struggle with anxiety, depression. Root vegetables and lots of fresh vegetables. Whether your body prefers to have warm dishes or soups, another person, their body might be craving raw vegetable salads. There is no standard recipe. It's I go more about what quality of the food, and make sure you eat regularly, that you sit down and chew your food. Is really literally going back to basics. What kind of water do you drink? Is it, you live in a country where the tap water is drinkable, but actually not that great? When you buy water, is it in glass bottles? Is it in plastic bottles? Literally, it matters. Like, if you're not drinking enough water, your body cannot even detox. So there is no point to throw herbs at you if your liver is so full and can't even get rid of it because you're not drinking enough water. Like, if you have to force yourself to drink half a liter of water a day, that's not enough. If you live in a country where you sweat, 3 liters, 2.5 liters, you have to drink water. And then it depends if you are a tiny woman or if you are like a big person, you need to adjust the water consumption. So it's not, as a naturopath, we really look at the person's individual situation, because it's very difficult to generalize, but these are some things. So it's really quality of food, having regular meals, making sure you sleep. These things all have an impact on like anxiety and depression. Let's face it. Do you get enough sun? Go out, get sun. This is so important. People don't have the time. They're busy, or they only get out on the weekends or in the holidays. And especially if you live in a country where you have a very long dark winter, you need to make sure you get your vitamin D, because that again is going to have an impact how you're going to feel. And the more important is that you're at least eating healthy. Like, if the food you're putting in is not good, it's difficult to get better.
Okay. Do you have, I know about sleep, we will talk in the next video, so I don't want to go into sleep yet. But do you have any specific, because that was awesome. Like, I've written it down, that for anxiety, chickpea, right? It's like, I love hummus. I love hummus with my carrots. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. There was this like, intuition was telling me to eat the hummus.
Yeah.
But do you have other ideas for like what to eat, let's say, when I feel I don't know, like a little bit of depressed, sad, withdrawal, maybe something for happiness, to continue feeling happy and joyful, to kind of like stimulate and keep it for longer. Do you have certain like a food or ingredients for more of the emotions as well?
Yeah, well, that would go more into herbs. Like, in general, herbs are great. And we don't always need to know this herb is for this or that. I mean, in general, lemon balm is fantastic. But I think we speak, do we speak more in another video about that one, or?
No, I don't know.
I think maybe it's this one here. So herbs that are great for the mood are lemon balm. You can have a fresh pot even on your window and on your windowsill. Grows well. It's very easy to grow. I mean, if ideally buy organic, because you want it for the medicinal properties. So then you have it fresh. You can put it into your salad. You can put it into your smoothie. You can make it a tea. Lemon balm is even pregnant, breastfeeding women can take it. So it's super versatile. And that's
never
just
heard of
fantastic
that. Lemon balm. This herb.
Yeah. I mean, I could show you one, but it's right out there growing in my outside. It looks a bit like peppermint, but it's lemon balm, and it has this lemony kind of flavor, so it's quite nice. Then lavender petals, but again, look, not basically the one for decoration. Make sure it's like good quality lavender. You can have like actually make a chamomile. Chamomile is great. Another one to calm the nerves. So these are like, and I love mixing these 3 together. It's a very gentle infusion. Love it before going to bed, or you have a stressful day, and like that's just great. And in terms of like when you feel really happy, I don't know, for some people that might feel more like a salad day. Eat the colors of the rainbow. Just eat your colors. If eating healthy is a struggle for you, you could start your day with a green smoothie. That's just an easy way to make sure you get the nutrients and have them first in the day. Now, next thing is, if you, as a man, if you're donating blood, or as a woman, because you menstruate, we give birth. We need to make sure the iron level is actually high enough. So anything that is iron rich, like chickpeas, your green smoothie, like green vegetables, red meat, but especially for the vegetarians, for the vegans, do not consume caffeine or red wine 1 hour before or after, because it's going to block out almost entirely the absorption of iron.
Oh, wow.
Now, if we're iron deficient, what many women actually are, we can also develop symptoms of depression. And it's actually the body's so tired, we feel fatigue, the hair is falling out, there's no energy, and that's actually a symptom of iron deficiency. So these are usually one of the first things I check. And it's not just the hemoglobin, which is the one that is free floating in the blood. So that's what often doctors check. They might not necessarily check the ferritin, which is the storage of the iron. Okay. That's the more important one, because if we're too low on ferritin, also you might have a problem getting pregnant or keeping a pregnancy. So again, these are things that we look at, and of course the thyroid, making sure the thyroid is working properly. That's from the hormone side. Okay. So that's why it's so important. And because to treat these again is food, is lifestyle, reducing the stress and all these things. It has to go together. Like I wish sometimes like it was this magic pill, but it just isn't, it's just good for advertising and people sell stuff, but
So how would you connect this with trauma? How it was like, is there a direct link, or is it like the next step? If we don't address this, if we don't solve this, there is a trauma, or there is a trauma and therefore the trauma represents and expresses some of the parts through these kind of emotions?
I would say it depends. I would say it depends. So trauma, I mean, the term is quite broad also. I mean, trauma generally, I mean, you know this better than I do, but it's generally something that just overwhelms us, that overwhelms the nervous system. Nervous system, by the way, is one of the key things I work on as an naturopath, because there's no point to throw all these herbs in you if your nervous system is all haywire, but that's something else. Trauma, every one of us experiences situations in life that overwhelm us. Now it's our way whether we are able to cope with it. We have ways to manage. Now, if at least we eat healthily, if at least we get our 8 hours of sleep, we have a much higher chance to get out of it in a healthy way. If you're not sleeping, you're just eating takeaway fast food or processed foods, it's just going to be a downward spiral. So that's why the lifestyle things, because they go together with the body. Now, also another thing that I've seen many times, I mean, I work a lot with women and lots of trauma background, but when we're not well, we tend to not take care of ourselves because we just don't have the energy. And we think, oh, it's just this one burger, or it's just this one takeout, or just today I don't have the energy to cook. I'm just too tired. And sometimes we need to force ourselves to eat healthy. And that's usually when I work with patients, is actually we work on food plans, or like have some, like if maybe, I don't know if you've seen on my social media for Panakaya, but I put a lot of these like quick, healthy, easy to make recipes, because I don't even follow much of recipes. Like I'm very intuitive, but it's just to give ideas out. How can you combine things? How can you make quick and easy things? And what you said earlier, like, Thursday is your zombie day. You prepare your fridge. So we need to have this kind of strategies to really to overcome that. Like I love working, for example, with energy balls. At least you feed yourself something healthy when you have these cravings, or you just slum. It's like, I don't have the energy to cook now, but I'm so hungry. Pop in some energy balls. Make these, have that. Get over the cravings. Have a little healthy snack. Have some avocado, and then go on. So. I think these are the things that we need to, again, like having this holistic approach when we have trauma present. It's just, I wouldn't say like if you have like a severely nutrient deficient diet, it causes you trauma in that way, but it's just not going to help you. I mean, it's just going to make things worse.
And I think you mentioned something really important, that we need to plan for kind of like for a relapse. We need to plan for a bad day, right? It's like very often what I show my clients as well is that, look, we're gonna progress. I will get you there, and I will help you to progress. But you need to know that we're not gonna just like skyrocket up there, and we're gonna just like sit later on the moon and saying, yes, we achieved that, awesome, right? It's more of we're gonna go up and down. But my job help you go down and notice when you're going down, to make sure that this down is not lower than the last one. So we still go up and down, but we're progressing up, right? So there is a lot of checking in and noticing and being able, first I give them a feedback that, hey, I'm noticing this is what's happening. Do you notice that? Do you register this as well? So then later they develop a skill of being able to rely on themselves, be aware of what's happening. and be prepared for the downs, because
yes,
I know now that during my week that Thursday is a zombie day, right? But sometimes I have exactly the same, even on my kind of like a good and happy day, right? And sometimes there's something that just snaps me out of the mood and I'm going down. So to be able to recognize it and then know what we need to give ourselves, this is the key. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you see this also like just giving yourself permission to actually feel that? Is that an issue for some people as well? Like maybe feeling even like,
especially
I have
for
to
women,
do this.
We don't give ourselves permission to look at ourselves. We look at how we should look and how we should be perceived on the outside, but we don't give ourselves permission to focus on our internal needs, emotional needs, because we tend to self-sacrifice. The tendency, the narratives from the past and conditioning is that we tend to self-sacrifice ourselves to serve to others, right? So everyone else around us is way more important than us. So once we solve their crises, their things, and when they are all happy, then we're like double checking, like, are they really that happy? So we're just gonna go one more round around them to just make sure that they are happy. Then we slow down, then we sit and say, oh my God, I feel so tired, I have no energy. And either we switch off and we deny and we avoid looking into, and we distract ourselves from looking in the needs. So then we distract ourselves with phone, social media, we just watch something, or we really sit and feel it, and then we fulfill our needs and meet the needs, and we give ourselves what we need. But it is a process of,
it's a tricky one, huh? It's not
permission.
Easy. It's not easy. I don't know. Just to briefly also mention the nervous system. I don't know how's your experience, but often I perceive, like, I work a lot with the body. I may touch. I also do remote sessions, so I don't necessarily need to be in the same room of the person, but the body often feels so haywire. The person not even able to calm down. Like when I touch the nervous system of a stressed person, it feels so electric, almost like, when you touch an electrical socket and you feel like, oh, that stings, that hurts. This is the feeling sometimes I get from the nervous system of a very stressed person. Or when a person is like close to a burnout, it feels like very, very aggressive, even like this kind of feeling. A person who is calm and recharge is more like flowing, it's beautiful. You think, okay, this person knows how to nourish themselves. But when we work actually on the nervous system to help it calm down, then all of these things are much easier. And then I think also the work, like with a life coach, a psychotherapist, like to find all these healthy coping strategies, it can be so much more powerful, like all this work together, because it's not just an isolated view. Again, holistic. I keep saying it, but I don't know. But from what I see, holistic just seems to give the best results.
Yeah, I agree. Holistic approach is the best one. And as soon as I can see that some of the clients at the very beginning, they're like, no, just give me strategy and I will practice it. And then we're going to just get rid of this anxiety because it's causing the burnout and so on. And I'm like, no. We're just going to slow down. I'm not going to keep giving you new strategies each session because it's not going to be effective. Like, if you want that, cool. But I'm not going to take your money for that, because I know that you will have to come back to me in 2 months. And I don't want that, right? I don't want to make you dependent. So then we practice a little bit of regulating the nervous system, the breathing, right? They notice that they feel differently. And once they are in touch with their body, this is when I tell them, okay, now you need to exercise more. You need to go and see this person, and this person, because we take care of you as a whole person.
Yes.
We not only looking at you just with one anxiety. Anxiety is somewhere in the body, but it represents through all areas, right?
Absolutely.
And it's important to know that to find the right people, right person who shares the same approach. Because I made this few times that I've sent someone to just go and check it with a nutritionist, because I know that you need to work on your gut health. I'm not specializing in that. I know that it is important. And they came back disappointed. They said, yeah, I was overwhelmed. I had to cook. I had to do this. And I got so many different charts and I had to now monitor. I'm like, okay, whoa. Like, we need to find a better person who will slowly help you transition into that, right?
Yeah.
Because if the other person doesn't have this human connection and can't really see that, if you bombard them with 100 pages documents and meal plans, they won't do that.
It's too much. To be honest, Beata, I use so much like my banking experience, because when I was in banking, to be honest, my life was very different. I got up super early, and the first thing was like I checked my BlackBerry still in bed, because I was working across different time zones, like New York and like, for example, when I was living in Europe, I was doing New York and China. So you're very tired. You're literally working 18 hours a day, which is too much. But you rush to work. I often had my breakfast at 5 p.m. because there was no time to even eat. Or when I dialed, and you wait for the call to go through, I just quickly took a bite and it's like, okay, call through. So I have to, gulp down my food. And at a weekend, you're just too tired. You just don't have the energy. You don't want to move. And all you want to do is hang out on your sofa and not do anything. So I actually use this kind of memory to really come up quick, healthy, easy stuff. And that's whether it works on stress, on anxiety, for food, just small, simple stuff. And if you do 10 minutes a day of maybe even like a physical exercise, it's better 10 minutes every day than, once every month. And then you hate it so much, your body aches, you get frustrated because you haven't done it again. It's like, we need to make it bite-sized and easy digestible. I really believe, and it's like, make it easy. Because any recipe that you give that's too complicated, you're not going to do it. It's like, you're not going to have the time or the energy. And if later on, or you have the energy, then it's great, but probably you might not need my help. People who actually need help are those who don't have the energy, or who are like so without, like, with fatigue and just not even having the energy to research. There's so much on Google. You can find it, but which one is correct? Like, there's so many health bloggers out there, but what certificate or what credentials they actually have, right?
And whether this is tailored approach toward you, right? What you really need. Okay. I feel like we gave a lot of inspiration. It's like holistic. So to summarize, holistic, okay? And giving ourselves permission to feel and to heal. Because if we want to feel it, if we want to see our needs, we can't take the next steps toward healing. So let's is there anything else you'd like to mention as a last note, like a summary?
I think that you summed it up quite well. And for me, it's really, we cannot separate mind and body. And if whatever health issue you have, it doesn't matter what, whether it's sleep, stress, fertility, it doesn't matter. Try to go for holistic and try to work with people with whom you resonate, because chances are it's just going to be a lot more fun. It's already hard enough, So look for people with whom you feel, that person understands me. Like, I feel taken care of here. And this often is more important than having that one strategy, that one diet that someone is following. Just try to listen to your gut, what works, and it's all going to be okay, Sam.
Yeah. And the human connection is the part that heals as well, right?
Yeah.
We need to add a little bit of fun, and we want to feel like, I want to tell this person more because A, I trust them, B, I know that they will help me, and it's fun to spend time together and know that I am progressing and I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. I will see you soon in the next video.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.